In case you missed part 1, yesterday we took an Amtrak train from New York City to upstate New York where we went to 2 Yarny events, Cake Palooza in the morning and Woolen Folk in the afternoon. We also popped by a yarn store, The Perfect Blend, and gave a tour of our cute cabin.
Good morning.
Morning! Did they give you coffee?
Yeah, but I didn't know it was there until just now when I left.
Me too. It's so cold. I think it's like 40 degrees right now.
It feels really cold.
Yes. Kent's not going to be coming with us this morning, but we'll explain why later on. But first, we need to go get some breakfast. I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Today, we're on our way to the main event, the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival. Since our hotel didn't include a warm breakfast, we decided to head into downtown Kingston to eat at Deasing's. They had tons of options for both dining in and carrying out. And they also had a huge bakery. Even though we had to get up pretty early for a sit-down breakfast, this was a great way to start the day getting fueled up and communing with friends. We then had about a 20-minute drive to the Dutchess County Fairgrounds for the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival in Rhinebeck, New York. The interesting thing about this part of the state is that the Hudson River cuts through everything. So some towns like Saugerties and Kingston are on the west side of the river, and other towns like Rhinecliff and Rhinebeck are on the east side. Parking is fairly easy at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. On Saturday, we arrived soon after the venue opened, but on Sunday we came in later and had to wait about 5 minutes to park. You're gonna have to cut that, I think. Sorry.
If it wasn't mohair,
Look at your outfit. So cute.
We're not getting out of this one.
There are 3 entrances that I know of, but this one with the barn and the big parking lot is the main one. There was security there to check bags and a second place to check tickets. A day pass to Rhinebeck is $12 for the day if purchased in advance and $15 if purchased at the gate. If you're spending all weekend here, you will need to purchase 1 ticket for each day, which was very easy to do online. You also don't need to stress about buying a ticket right when they drop like you do for some of the adjacent events. Officially, this event is called the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival, but colloquially among knitters and crocheters, it's known as Rhinebeck. This event technically starts on Thursday with classes and competitions, and then opens to the public on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and on Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for shopping and demonstrations.
I'm wearing my Alpenglow in my yarns. Obviously, Andrew Maury Rhinebeck sweater, and no diaper, but here. Wearing my thick tan line joggers.
Wearing my Harlow hat by Andrew Maury, Inclinations cowl, also Maury, and then I'm gonna take this off.
Wait, you're wearing 3 things from Andrea Maury?
Andrea Maury.
I know you don't like the length, but I think it looks super cute.
It does look super cute because I have my high-waisted pants.
Okay, friends, let me know what you think about the length of this sweater because I'm all but decided to add another inch or so to it after wearing it this week.
Okay, I am also wearing the Alpenglow by Andrea Maury, and I'm wearing my Muscle Bro hat by Azul Boutique.
Wait,
I'm wearing my Oh, shoot. What are they called? Do you remember what these are called? My string of heart socks by Maddie Hobbs.
Yes. Where's Ken? He got demoted.
I know. Ken's
I'm the new Ken.
So instead of Rhinebeck today, Michael and I at the United States Military Academy, Army, West Point, for a little college football, if you can believe that. Me at a football game. Who would have thought?
One of the first things you'll see coming in are these little animals, and then right behind it is the hill. Right now it's empty, but later today you'll see that it gets packed with people meeting up.
This is the hill. This is the hill, calm before the storm.
We started out by heading up to the first big shopping area, which are in these three buildings, A, B, and C. Actually, let's pause right there and throw up a map of the festival. Don't worry, it's actually a lot easier to get around than it looks. We just came in here and walked by the hill here. There are two main shopping areas, the buildings, A, B, and C, and the barns that are numbered. The other important places to note is the food area, which is near the ABC buildings, the other gates, and the bathrooms, which I will point out later on. Okay, back to shopping.
There's something different about us. We're pouring cup after cup after cup. Yeah, it's just the way we do it. Anything just to block out the real life, real life. Yeah, we love in the way they think we're so messed up. What we're doing is bad. There's so many emotions.
At Stephen Willett, we got to see a demo of these glass tip supported spindles. I'm not a spinner, but I was fascinated to see how these beautiful items worked to create yarn.
Like paper planes, they never know where we will fall. Nobody can see us, still they wanna tear us apart. There's something different about the way we are.
There were lots of different exclusive show colorways for Rhinebeck, and you know that these are my weakness. There is one booth, Miss Babs, that is always packed. I couldn't even get close enough to the yarn to show you it close up. We were about to exit the first building when we saw this person playing with fiber. Again, I'm not a spinner, but I believe they were using a blending board to create something called rolags for spinning. It was so cool to watch.
There's something different about us. Something different about the way we are. There's something different about us. Something different about the way we are. There's something different about us.
Over in Building B, we saw my favorite potter, Polly Studios. I think I point them out at every event because I just love their mugs. They're dishwasher safe and microwave safe, and they hold up so well. They also brought so many other items to the show, like yarn bowls, pots for plants, and soup bowls. We focused a lot on the yarn in part 1 of this series, so in this one I want to show off all the other things that Rhinebeck has to offer, like fiber. I love visiting this area that shows all the different kinds of fleece. It's so wild to look at how some of it curls and some of it crimps, and it's even more fun to go look at the actual sheep on the other side of the venue and compare. Now let's talk food. There are so many delicious food options at Rhinebeck, but if you have food restrictions, follow a healthy diet, or are unable to stand in line for extended periods, you will want to bring some food with you. It's also important to note that some of the food vendors only accepted cash. The lines on Saturday were extremely long, and I waited about 45 minutes for my crab mac and cheese. It was delicious, but by the time I got it, I was exhausted. I was so glad that we found a picnic table behind the food trucks to sit and eat for a bit.
Okay, it was not that crowded on the hill when I left to get my pizza.
And how long ago was that?
Maybe 20 minutes ago?
Because it's crazy over there now.
Now it's time for the absolute best part of Saturday, the meetups. The meetups are on the hill and start at noon. Now these meetups aren't part of the official programming for Rhinebeck, so you'll have to gather info from different podcasters and designers via Instagram. We got to the hill around 2 o'clock to meet Andrea Mowry and take a photo with our alpenglows. And then I hosted my own meetup at 3 p.m. It was so fun to get to chat with and take photos with so many knitters and crocheters. Some I knew from Instagram or my membership and got to meet them in person for the first time. When we left Rhinebeck, I was made aware that while the hill is so much fun, it's not an accessible place for all. So next year, I plan to have my meetup in a place where everyone can join. I met two lovely people that were wearing their own designs that I want to share with you. The first is Goddess Crochet in her boho cardigan. And the second is Emmy Bow the Maker with the September poncho. I'll make sure to link both patterns down below. The time on the hill always goes by in a flash, and afterwards we were eager for some caffeine. I love getting a coffee and cookie from Taste Buds that's right at the bottom of the hill. We had planned to do more shopping, but ended up chatting on the hill until well past when the event ended at 5 p.m. Security even came over to tell us to get a move on. After one last quick trip to the restroom, we headed out after an amazing day 2. But the adventure wasn't over yet. So what I didn't know, since I've never had to cross back over the river after Rhinebeck, is that the traffic is horrible. There weren't enough cops directing cars, so someone jumped out of the car to get us through the standstill.
I know. It's my friend. He's like, I'm gonna get us out of here. Let's go! Woo!
We made it back to Kingston, the same town where we were staying, 30 minutes late for our dinner reservation, but luckily they were still able to get us in. Then we had our second surprise of the weekend. there was a brand new yarn store next to the restaurant. Yarn and Farm Kingston is in its soft opening phase and should be fully open later this year. It's a yarn store and wine bar, so Rhinebeck goers, get ready to add this Kingston yarn shop to your list for next year. My one regret this year is that I wish we had left more time to hang out and just be together knitting and chatting. It would have been so fun to check out all the cute towns during the day and just sit and knit together longer each night. Next year, I think we'll add a full day on either side of our trip just for this. Our last day of Rhinebeck came way too quickly, and it was time to start packing up to check out of our hotel. Kent and I are sitting here waiting on our breakfast, so we thought while we're waiting, we would let you know what we've purchased so far.
Hey everyone, it's our last day up here for Rhinebeck. And like Natalie said, waiting for a breakfast, and while we're doing that, I'm going to show off everything that Natalie's bought so far. So we'll start with this bag. I was actually there when she got this one. It's like hand painted or stamped or whatever. It's really cool though.
As funny as it was to hear Kent explain everything I got, I thought you might want to see it in a little more detail. So at Woolen Folk, I got this gorgeous bag from Krista Jekyll, and it is tall. It has a lovely wax canvas bottom with the hand painted print. It also has a drawstring top. You can just kind of like tuck it in here and then you don't see it, or you can pop it out and close it like that.
And then inside the bag, we have some circular needles from Lantern Moon.
At the new yarn shop in Kingston, the yarn shop and wine bar, I grabbed some Lantern Moon ebony needles. I got these because I've been wanting to try them out to test out the needle tips and the cord, because I'm thinking about getting these as an interchangeable set.
You got this yarn. This is actually for me. Now it's gonna make me another hat for a team I like, because that's another Dallas Stars hat. But they also wear this like kind of bright green, and it matches really well. So it'd be awesome. You need a black yarn today or sometime, but she's gonna make me another hat, like I don't know if like this or like the other ones. But
at Cake Palooza, I first got this yarn from Cake Yarn. This will be my first cake yarn. Really, Kent got this because it matches his Dallas Stars hat.
Autumn in New York from Sorella. That's, I don't know if you can see, but it's got some like glittery gold in it.
Then at the Perfect Blend, I got this lovely yarn from Sorella. This is going to be my first Sorella yarn, which I'm really excited about. It's called Autumn in New York, and I got it on Sparkle Base.
At the chaos that was Black Pearl Magic at our first event. Chaos in a good way, because everyone like ran there. It was like Black Friday. And I don't really know what this is. Like, I've joked that it looks like one of those like binders you would get like in elementary school. Because I don't know. I mean, it's got a pocket here. It has three little things here. More organization over here. I don't know. I think now it says like a needle organizer.
Back at Cake Palooza, the one thing that I had on my list was this from Black Pearl Magic. I think she calls it an interchangeable needle binder, but it's an interchangeable needle organizer. You unzip it. It's got an open flap on one side. It's got 3 little pockets you can use for cords, and then it's got all the little dividers that you need for those needle tips. So this is the one thing that I was like, I have to have it. And at Rhinebeck, I got absolutely nothing, which is the same thing that happened last year. The only money I spent was on food and coffee, which for me is just as well, since I am still trying to eliminate my stash this year. We only went to 3 out of like 20 buildings yesterday.
I'm excited.
We decided to take this morning a little slower and met our group at one of the fire pits by the river. We got to eat, chat, drink coffee, and knit to start our last day. The time seriously went too quickly.
Show me what you found.
I found like a leaf. That's
It's like so right here. Hold it up. Just hold it. Too high, too high. It's so pretty.
I don't get how it can even exist.
It's so beautiful.
It's crazy. I don't know. What a crazy comment.
Bye.
We're not bye. It's bye to the house.
Bye to the house. Day 2. Here we go. Day 3.
Day 3.
Day 3.
We totally forgot to share what we were wearing this day, so real quick, I'm wearing my seaside dress by Brianna Lapino, along with my long summer cardi by Joji Locatelli, and the same Musselboro hat I wore yesterday. Amy is wearing her Comfort Fade cardi by Andrea Mowry, and Brianna, who designed my dress, is wearing her not yet released After the Storm sweater. Today we are going to venture to the other side of the fairgrounds. Our first stop is up this small hill for apple cider donuts. Although this is not the hill where everyone met yesterday, it's actually a steeper hill than the big one. The line for apple cider donuts is typically pretty long, and they are one of the food vendors that only takes cash, but it is well worth it.
Take a bite. Tell us how it is.
It's on me. Sorry.
That's better than last year.
They're bees.
Next, we are headed up to the other main shopping area, the barns.
Then all of a sudden it became reality.
Each of the barns are numbered and hold around 12 or more vendors, and some of these barns hold livestock. I find it easiest to keep track of which barns we've been in by making my way through one, then turning around and going back the other way through the next one. Then I just keep zigzagging across each barn.
With his little coat on. Or her little coat.
He's tolerating all this spectacular.
Yeah, he's doing good.
We not get one.
You're not.
Michael.
You get a few.
Yeah, you have to get
You get
3.
one.
You're right. You cannot get just one.
Michael, what are you doing?
What's the name again?
Santa Cruz Hidden Homestead.
What's his name?
Is he Alfredo? Yeah.
Not really. Do you love him?
It's like a dog.
It's so fun to see all of the animals at Rhinebeck. There are some outside like these and some in the barns. We missed absolutely all of it, but if you check out the event schedule, there are tons and tons of events throughout both Saturday and Sunday. It's easy to see why families love to bring their kids.
Is your loving all I need? Is your loving?
So I don't know exactly how this happened, but a photographer asked me if I made my dress, and then the next thing I knew, we were off on a photo shoot. Maybe I'll get to be in an article about Rhinebeck weekend. I got a lot of questions about Rhinebeck that we'll use this time walking around to answer. So many people asked why Rhinebeck is so amazing and why do so many people get hyped up about it. I hope so far I've been able to show that Rhinebeck is about more than just shopping for yarn. It's about the community and friendship and just sneaking away for a few days to escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and of course experience fall in upstate New York. Now, if you have limited time, I would say come just for Saturday. If you want to avoid crowds, I would say come only on Sunday. If you mostly just want to shop, I'd suggest skipping the fairgrounds and going only to the Friday events, which are more concentrated with new dyers. The second question I got was, how do you budget? This year, it was super easy for me because I didn't plan on buying anything. Of course, that didn't totally pan out, but it did help. In the past, I have set a dollar amount to save in advance, and then divided that total up over how many months I had to save. For example, if I wanted to save $500 and I had 5 months, I would save $100 per month. The best time I ever had shopping for yarn was when I did this and I brought cash. It was so satisfying to feel like I could just spend without any guilt. The last question that I got a lot was, what do non-knitting and crocheting partners do at an event like this? We had 3 non-yarny partners with us, and they were there with us nearly the whole time. Kent and Michael opted for a football game instead of Rhinebeck on one of the days, but all 3 guys were able to enjoy hanging out, eating food with us, and chatting with all of the people. I saw lots of other supporting partners walking around the event with their yarny companions. If your partner is not as extroverted as ours, there are lots of places where they could maybe grab a bite of food and then sit and read a book and get some quiet time. One last hot tip I have for you is about the bathrooms. There are some porta potties around, but you don't need to use those. There are 2 bathrooms, One is in the center of everything between the food trucks and the barns. Don't go there. It is smaller and usually has a long line. There's another bathroom. It's sort of across from the hill, closer to the main entrance. It is much, much larger. So even if it has a line, it goes super fast. Okay, now back to vlog time. For lunch today, there weren't long lines at all, so I wanted to grab a couple things to share with Kent. We got pierogi, which I had never had before, which is kind of like a savory dumpling. Ours were filled with potatoes, broccoli, cheese, and onions. Then we got the fried Brussels sprouts, which are heavenly. If you like Brussels, you've got to try them. However, they are one of the cash-only food vendors. Our last stop of the day was the food hall in Building E, which I had never seen before in my life until this day. It's sort of hidden in plain sight right across from the ABC buildings and behind some of the food trucks. You can taste spirits, honey, pickles, and more, and buy treats to take home with you. Another cool spot in the food hall was all the logo art on display for future 2023 New York State Sheep and Wool. You could vote on your favorite design. We took one last photo before heading out. No one wanted to go home, and you could tell we were all just prolonging the inevitable. Kent and I needed to make our 5:15 p.m. train back to New York City, but luckily it was only a 10-minute drive from the fairgrounds, especially since there was no traffic this day. We booked our Amtrak tickets well in advance, which turns out to be a good thing since all trains back to the city were sold out. We took one last look at the sun setting over the Hudson River and then started the 90-minute journey back home and to Toaster. What a whirlwind of a weekend. Thanks for coming along with me on this fun adventure. I hope to see you next year at Rhinebeck 2023.